Hello, welcome to the video. I'm doing a review of the 2019 version of the Moza Mini-Mi. You might be wondering, why am I making a review with 2019 in the title when it's 2020 already? Well, the reason is I was doing shopping for a gimbal and I discovered some changes had been made to the Moza Mini-Mi, and I thought I would share this information with you all so that you could see the difference. First of all, the 2018 version has this case, and the 2019 version has this case. But I will be going over all of the differences between the two versions, and also I made a spreadsheet detailing all the differences between each gimbal that I looked at. If you're interested, get subscribed so you can see a video when I go over each one of these details. To start with, we need to do the obligatory shaky cam comparison. This is a recording I did before I got a gimbal with just the camera while I was walking. And here it is with the Moza Mini-Mi 2019. All YouTube videos do this, so they do a better job than me. I won't spend a lot of time on it. But here is a left and right comparison of before and after. You can clearly see there's a difference. And if you spend some time in post in software on your computer, you could clean it up even more. Hey, editing / future me here. I just want to warn you in advance for the shaky B-roll footage that I made. You see, when I was shooting it, I was thinking, should I wait till I have a second gimbal so I can shoot the first gimbal and so I have super sexy smooth B-roll? But then I thought, I don't understand enough about gyros and all these different things going on. I mean, I might accidentally shoot myself and create a tesseract or a black hole or something, or a tesseract inside of a black hole, and that could like implode the end of the universe. And you know, that's not cool because that's where we keep all our stuff. And we don't want to lose the universe. So I slowed down some of the B-roll footage so it didn't look all jerky. Alright, here's my detailed review of the Moza Mini-Mi 2019. The case comes with a microfiber cloth for cleaning your phone's screen, a charge cable for the gimbal, a pack of silica gel, a mini tripod for the gimbal, and a sticker. I personally chose to put that sticker on the side of my computer because that's where all my stickers go. None of these are a sponsor. Now the case itself looks pretty sturdy. It reminds me of CD cases from the late 90s. Looks like it'll probably hold up over quite a while, many years. And it has a double zipper design and a nice arm strap that looks pretty sturdy. And the zipper itself looks pretty sturdy, like it would hold up as well as hold out a lot of moisture. It does not have on the fly orientation switch. What that means is you press a button on the gimbal and it changes it from horizontal to portrait. This one doesn't have that. But it's not that hard to balance. I unscrewed the screw, I pulled it out till it felt right, and screwed it back down. Now if I want to change it to the other way, you turn this thing the other way. I don't use it in portrait mode that much. You see it's not balanced, it's a little to the left. Just find the right spot where it wants to balance and you tighten it down. Now I'm going to turn it on. It balances itself. And you can see that there's a mode indicator for yaw follow, which is yaw follow, and you can turn it off. Does not follow anything. Turn on pitch follow, And it does the pitch, which is this way. And you can combine them. And this is sport mode, but if I load up the Moza app and pair it, I like this, by the way, pairing from within the app instead of using the OS. Up in the top left hand corner you can see which follow modes I have active. Turn sport mode off. Now you can see that all lock is on, which just all positions are locked. Pan, follow, pan and yaw follow, but they call it tilt up here, so it's a little confusing. Anyways, having these mode indicators on here is a huge help for me, because when I'm recording, I can look at a glance to see what it is. Or I can get used to what's up here. But this won't work if I'm using a different app. This can be used with any camera app, obviously. It's just the stuff where the gimbal communicates with the phone only works in the Moza Genie app. Now, horizontal mode, or flashlight mode, some gimbals call it, is just that. I'll go over here so you can see. Inception mode is just simply that. That's all it is. 1, 2, 3. So now the rotation is doing this first axis. One, two, three, and it's back to normal. You can do this, and it goes into its inception mode. But that's all it is. All inception mode is allowing you, it changes what the joystick does. So instead of left and right pan, it does that. But it's really easy to get in and out of the mode. It's 3 taps of up. To enter and leave the mode. Time lapse is easily accessible via the menu. You go to video mode, which is right there. Oh, let me bring that back up. Set to taking pictures. Hit the record button to choose the next menu down. So when I started making my keto meal the other day, I thought it would be a good time to demonstrate the time-lapse feature of Moza Genie. So imagine you were making a video like this and you're like, oh, so I mixed up my mug bread, and when I was doing that, taste tested it, and I walked over and stuck it in the microwave and realized I was thirsty, so I grabbed the water, and I'm getting my water. I thought, what's better than water? Keto shake. So I got the ingredients for the keto shake. But you may notice while you're seeing this that the focus keeps going in and out. So you're going to want to lock the focus and probably lock the exposure before doing any time-lapse recordings. So hyperlapse is not in here. I think that because that's all it is time-lapse photography where you are moving the camera. The motion time-lapse is I'll get into in a minute. Now here's a hyperlapse, as Moza calls it, recording where I was walking down the street. As you see, it looks a bit shaky. It's because it's only taking 1 picture per second, and all the vibrations going to be exaggerated. So if you're going to do something like this, I recommend keeping your gait low while you walk slowly, and maybe do something to your side so that you're getting a smooth shot. So what we're going to try now is motion time lapse, and that's where it moves based off of a preset of coordinates. And I'll do 3 coordinates, and so you can see how it pans and tilts. Like always, I like to set the focus lock and the exposure lock right away, so it's not trying to hunt for that.
And then I'm going to go to menu. I'm actually using the wheel. It's pretty intuitive, this wheel, but it does take getting used to. So go down to shooting mode, hit the record button, and go up to motion time lapse, hit the record button. Then it tells you this menu. It basically says, and this menu doesn't make any sense because I've tried it and I can't get it to work. It says motion time lapse photography guidelines. Press and hold the middle button to confirm the current selected time-lapse photography point position. After the location is selected, long press the right button of the dial to directly activate the motion time-lapse photography. However, those buttons don't do anything. You get this little green plus sign and you say, okay, that's one of my motion time-lapse points. You press it if it wants to work, and it's not working. So, like usual with Moza app, you gotta shut it down, turn off the gimbal, close the app, turn on the gimbal, and open the app. Focus lock, exposure lock. Oh, I don't like that focus. There we go. That's a better one. To where the focus, the f-stop is in a range beyond the screen of the window. That was my goal. Try that again. Menu. Shooting mode. Scroll all the way up to motion time lapse. Press button. Press the green plus sign. And it says set path point 1, and it takes a picture. Then you move it over to another spot. And for this demonstration, I've got the whole window in frame, and I'll tilt up like that. Then I'll hit that button, the plus button. Jiminy Christmas, not working. There we go. Number of path points can't exceed 9. What? What are you talking about? I'm trying to put the second one. So let's cancel out of this. Try it again. Motion time lapse. It still has the first one in there. Nope. It's not going to work. Shooting mode, motion time lapse. Hopefully all the variables or whatever has been cleared out of the memory and I can do this. Press the green plus, set path point 1. Good. Move it over so that my window is in frame. Move it up. Set point 2. Set path point 2. Success. Now move it to the right and move it down. Now I don't want to be too far over because there is a glitch and I want you to see it. Now hit the third point, set path point 3. Now it has 3 pictures on the screen and you could see them. Now I tap next step. Now shutter interval, and that says 1 second. That means it's going to take 1 picture a second. That's fine. The funky thing about this slider is you can't get granular. You try to say, okay, I want 0.2 seconds. It's not going to happen. It's not going to let you land on it. 0.3. So if you press the little minus, it's 0. Up, 0.5. 1. They need a different number chooser like they do in alarm clocks and timers and things. So the next one is the total duration. How long do I want this to last? Let's see if I can set this to 30 seconds so that I can spare you guys. And then you can hit preview or you can hit launch. I'm just going to hit launch. And the funny thing is that it goes in reverse of what the path points you set. Total time cannot be less than 60 seconds. Okay, there's a minute. So the final path point I gave it is where it starts, not where it ends. So you want to start where you want it. When you're setting it up, you want to start it where you want it to end, and you want to end it where you want it to start. As you see, it's moving from path point 3 to path point 2. But as it reaches the top, the whole window is not in frame as I had set it earlier, because it's a little off. There's definitely a usable motion time-lapse feature, but it's not going to be 100% accurate. And it's not, the software is not user-friendly, as in it doesn't work 100% of the time. Again, I don't think that's the gimbal. The gimbal is the hardware. It's the software that's bugging out. Now, like I was saying, it didn't have the window in frame earlier. As you could see here, let's move my tripod over with this. It moved way past the window frame because I started my motion time-lapse stops with the window just barely in frame on both edges, so you can demonstrate the inaccuracy of the software. It doesn't start and stop specifically where you put it. It's a little off.
So here's the results of the motion time-lapse I just did. As you can see, the window didn't stay in frame, and it was only 2 seconds long because we were recording for 1 minute at 1 frame recorded per second. I'm going to show it again here in 3, 2, 1.
It does have a battery bank function, like most of these cell phone gimbals have. You do have to keep in mind that you're going to throw off the balance when you do it, and you have to use a left angle cable. Most reviewers will say don't use this function because etc, etc, it's adding weight to your phone or adding weight to the gimbal, and the wire's going to interfere with the gimbal's rotation. This is true, but for most things you should be able to use it. See, this cable is going to interfere right there, but what I'm worried about, the immediate concern, is balancing it because I've added more weight. Okay, that's pretty much balanced. Now, what's another way I can do this cable? If I wrapped it around. There we go. Connect to the device. There we go. Using a left angle cable. I basically figured that out by putting the phone in and looking at it and looking at the shape of the connector, because this phone isn't USB-C. So you have to know which way. Like if you had a USB-C or a lightning cable like on an iPhone, it wouldn't matter if it was right angle or left angle because both sides of the connector are the same shape, but not with USB Micro B in my cheap poor person 4-year-old phone. And while I'm talking about rebalancing with the weight, check this out. Played around with the macro lens a few times. It's keeping its balance right now, so I'm about to turn it off just to make sure it's heavily over weighted on the right side. And you don't want to just stick another accessory on the device without manually balancing it the best you can first, because you're going to wear out the motors over time. Now, that's as far as it will go with this particular macro lens and cable. But if I take out this cable, you see I got plenty of give to go back this way. This is one of the reasons why I bought this particular gimbal, is because its weight capabilities were higher than some of the others. It has wireless charging, but like I said, poor person phone. It doesn't have the wireless charging. It does not have a microphone port, which some devices will use to allow you to control the audio source. Right now I'm using a lav connected to another device in my pocket. But that way you can have a better grade microphone than the built-in microphone on the device that you're recording with. Next thing is controlling zoom on the gimbal. This is important for me. I've got overly saturated here. There we go. Now the zoom is just done by either scrolling or tapping the bottom once. I prefer tapping once because it'll get you all the way in a smooth zoom, like so, and all the way back out. Now I've seen this in reviews, and I've experienced it myself, that using this to zoom produces kind of jumpy results, but the tapping it, real smooth. So we'll do an example here. I'll do a dolly zoom. That's what you want to do. Get your focus lock. And your exposure lock. And you want to be zoomed out when you're close. You get your range first. Then you want to tap it and go back. That's a dolly zoom. The old Alfred Hitchcock trick. What's next? One of the features I was looking for when I was looking at different gimbals was being able to switch from the front-facing cam to the rear-facing cam without actually having to reach up and touch the phone. And this one does that. If you long press the up position on the wheel, it switches. You see me standing back here behind my two phones. You'd also quickly switch between picture and video modes by tapping twice. See, now I'm in picture mode. If I press record, it takes a picture. Now, one of the things that bugs me is that there's a little X button down here, and if you hit back on your phone, it exits. I was a genie. It's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to go back to where I was a moment ago. But that's a problem that I've seen in a lot of Android apps anyways. And Apple users don't have a back button, so lol. We go back to gallery, and you can see that I took a picture. And the other one's a video, and you can see that I can play it. And there's my son's stocking. Holiday stocking. See, you have to hit the little tiny arrow, and then you have to hit this little tiny X. The other complaint that I have is in their gallery, there's no delete option. So let's try long pressing this. Nope. Tap it. No, that's my apps, the task manager. We've already gone over the joystick, but this is an important feature to talk about. Because not all gimbals have a joystick for you to rotate and control the gimbal. This is important, in my opinion, if you're going to do any moving shots where you're not going to rely on the rotation of the gimbal, and you only want it to rotate when you tell it to, or even then you are using a follow mode of some kind where it's going to rotate for you, and you want to do some fine tweaks or whatever. You need that. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about, and not all gimbals have, which is also important to me, is being able to rotate 360 degrees on the first axis.
Some of the gimbals don't, because when you pack it up to put it in a case, there's locking points. Like this one has a locking point here and a locking point here. You clip it into the locking point, you clip that one in a locking point, and you put it in the case. Now this one does not have a locking point on the bottom axis. Whatever motor or, what do they call it? Servo they're using is able to go around 360 degrees indefinitely. Watch. And this is how their inception mode is able to work without limiting you. And that would be important, like so. It's going to go all the way around. It's going to keep going forever. So you don't have to think, oh, if I'm about to do inception mode, I better start at this point. And also, if you want it to stay pointing a certain direction while you do some sort of trick shot, like going over your shoulder while you walk or something, and come back, it's going to keep pointing in that direction, and you don't have to have it hit it and knock your camera.
All right, let's try a demonstration of object tracking. It doesn't have face tracking per se, as in some gimbals software can detect a face and follow it, but it does have object tracking that I can get to work sometimes.
So the first thing I'm going to do is yaw follow. So if you walk to the left, and I'll turn the gimbal with you. All right, now let's go to the other way. There's yaw follow. Okay, I'm going to turn that off.
Oh, I saw it move. I saw it pivot.
And I'm going to do pitch follow, where I'm going to do something cinematic, where I'm approaching Jahi and bring it up. He's like, cool. Now I can do both at the same time. Once you go to the left and right and go ducking up and down. Yep. With practice, and if we choreograph this, it'd be good. But then again, why am I doing all this effort when this thing's got face tracking?
Okay.
A rectangle around your face.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, shit, big brother.
Now.
Okay, you did it. I see it.
Got that cheat sheet.
All right.
Now, where's sport mode?
It says right double.
Right double, all right. Now you can move faster. Ain't that dope?
It is very dope.
Imagine you shooting some rap videos like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Get very choreographic and dance routines or whatever. As long as you understand lighting on stuff so you don't make it glitch and just go all left like it just did.
No, that's cool. I like that.
This is your focus lock, is the red square. There's your exposure lock, is the circle.
Okay.
Now, when I'm over there, you're gonna have to get them to lock on me. This is to connect to this thing if you have to reboot it.
Okay.
Now this one, when that turns blue, you're ready to draw a box on something.
So I'm gonna try to get you locked in, right?
Yep.
So when will it show that box?
Well, let's try just yaw follow by itself first.
So yaw follow is double left, right?
Yep. Straight up and down, like there you go.
Oh, like this.
Yeah. Now, as I move that way, you want to turn your wrist that way. When I move that way, you turn it this way. Okay?
All right.
So that's a good demonstration of the yaw follow. Now turn yaw follow off with the double tap again.
Double tap left again.
Yep.
All right, it's off.
Now triple tap it, turn pitch follow on.
All right, that's the one at the top.
Yep.
That's going up and down.
Yep. Pretty dope, huh?
It is.
And you can have both on at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
Now you do want to have both on for the next demonstration.
All right, what's the next demonstration?
The next demonstration is the follow mode. So turn back on yaw follow, so you have both lights on. Got it?
So they're both on now.
So now what you want to do is there's like that blue, it's a white icon at the bottom. It's got like 3 little circles.
Yeah.
You tap that so it turns blue.
Yep, it's blue.
Now draw a square on my face.
Oh shit.
And it's tripping.
Start having a seizure.
Moza, if you're watching this video, it don't matter because we got snow all over my phone screen, but that's cool because snow is cinematic.
Indeed.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
And then pair it up.
Okay. All right, we ready?
Now you want to,
So let me turn on.
you got,
It's 3 taps, right?
yep. You want to do 4 things. Yaw follow on, pitch follow on, focus lock, and what was the other one? Exposure lock.
Follow.
You don't have to do all those things. It's just nicer when you're watching a smooth video that you're not seeing it adjust focus all the time.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
So,
All right, so now I got that. I'm drawing the blue box.
dude, it tracked your face better in this snow than mine.
That's all right.
So it's using the front-facing camera right now, and I'm going to set focus lock and exposure lock on my face so it's not trying to adjust those. And I have yaw follow, pitch follow, and sport mode turned on. Hit the little button and then draw a square on my face. The square tends to follow my face, but not that well. So let's try adjusting the light. Turn off object tracking. Take this light that I had hidden over here, put it right there. Let's try this again. Put myself in the middle maybe? Turn mode on, draw a square on my face. You can't see this from back there, but it's got a square around my face. So is it going to track me this way? Yeah, it's doing good. Tracking me like that. But if you're trying to make yourself have an action cam that follows you while you're doing something, well, I got this to work once earlier, but I wasn't recording. Maybe if I stop recording. So I'm going to want to focus and exposure. Hit record. Do a lock. Nope. Now it's obsessed with the fire extinguisher. Don't know what to say.
Hey, editing me again. Now let's go over the couple of differences that there are between the 2018 and the 2019 version. The biggest one, and I think this is probably, at least in Gutson's mind, the name of the company that owns Moza, was an improvement, and is that you're able to fold it flat, like so. The 2018 version was very similar to this, where it wouldn't fold and you had to fold it the other way, and it took up like a few more inches inside of the case. Now I have a video here from the YouTube channel Barbster Films, titled Moza Mini S versus Moza Mini-Mi, and he's comparing those models, but he's got a good B-roll here of the Moza Mini-Mi 2018 version inside of its case, and I've got some of the 2019. So you can see basically that's basically all that's changed. That and the case is a whole lot better. It has a zipper inside of the case for you to keep all your stuff so stuff doesn't rattle around. And that's about it. Alright, and now onto the manual. This, I get the focus, is what comes with the Moza Mini-Mi when you get it. And it's got a few languages in here, but there's only a couple pages in each language, which is fine. It's got a lot in there. It doesn't have some of the more complicated stuff in the steps how to do those things. I had to do my research on YouTube to figure that out. To start with, I'm going to show you by using the online PDF, which is linked in a doc that is linked in the description. I have a spreadsheet from Google Docs in there. It's got the links for all the different gimbals I researched. As you can see here, the motor goes on the left. I didn't quite catch that when I first was setting it up because I watched hours of reviews and all the other gimbals use the motor on the right. Oh, look at that, a whole blank page. And get an idea here of how it's all laid out. You get two 1/4" 20 mounts. One's on the back, which is right here. Am I in focus? Yep. And this is where you charge it. Where you charge your phone is out of a slot right there, which is right there. And you see here in the picture, it's hard to see, but the arm goes that way, so that means the second motor is on the left, not on the right like the other gimbals. And basically, when I got this, I just skimmed through this. And I read this part and that part, and I was off to the races. I was doing all kinds of stuff. That's why when I was showing my friend Jahi, after owning it like 3 days, I think, I was able to do it right away, but it took him a little time because it was the first time he ever got to try to gimbal. And as you could see, there's all kinds of functions. Like pressing the record button has all these functions. Pressing the up has 3 different functions. The right is 2 different ones. Down is 2 different ones. And you know about the zoom from earlier in the review. And then the left one is got these ones. It would have been nice to have these ones in the same chart with this, because I didn't even know about this chart until I spent a couple days having fun just doing these things. For example, like when I was walking to the bus, I just experimented with follow modes. So after a few days of playing around with the gimbal, of getting comfortable with pitch follow and yaw follow, I pointed at the sky while I was walking. Then I turned on pitch follow and moved it down, turned off pitch follow, turned on yaw follow, and used that to turn the corner pretty smoothly. And I also found that the controls on the gimbal were very easy to use with thick winter gloves. So that's a good segue into the overview. Its primary features are easy to pick up. I was using the follow modes right away, and as you could see in this footage I'm showing again, to figure out how to lock the focus and exposure, but that was easy to pick up with a little more research on YouTube. However, it would have been nice for those instructions to have been in the manual, so I wouldn't have to figure that out later. Besides its pitch, which is up and down, and it's yaw, which is left and right. Follow modes. It also has a roll follow, which allows it to go like that, which may be useful for some people. Final thoughts. If you're using a second phone or an older phone, I suggest grabbing a case that covers the screen when packing away the device. That way you protect the screen. The Moza Mini-Mi 2019 is a great deal for the money. It's got the meat and potatoes, plus a little bit more. But in my case, since I'm keto, it's steak and mashed cauliflower and eggs, because I wanted steak and eggs, but also steak and cauliflower. I was torn, so I got both. Moza Mini-Mi's got more than you need to get started, and it's a great price. It's a great value for the money. I do wish this gimbal could do the unattended object tracking better. I got it to work somewhat a couple of times on a tripod, but it wasn't reliable. I did also try it on a Snappa Atom, which cost more, and it couldn't do it at all. So I returned that, and that was after talking to Snappa support a few times. And it may be because of my phone. If anybody knows of a good gimbal that does it, and also if they can verify if it's because of my phone, it's a Note 4 by the way, then let me know in the comments. Now, how could Moza improve their product for their 2020 version if they come out with one? Just two things I could think of is bring back the trigger from the Moza Mini S that allows you to lock the follow modes momentarily. I did see reviews on that device and people complained that the trigger button had too many functions. But I think that if they just put the basics on that button and make it a lot easier. So for example, if you're using a follow mode, you can temporarily lock it so that the device keeps pointing in one direction until you let go of the trigger. That's a highlight for some of the other gimbals that I researched. The second thing, and this is just general, this software, it's got a lot of good stuff in it, and I use the software by itself without a gimbal all the time. For example, times where I've used its focus lock and exposure lock to take pictures that I otherwise couldn't have, like this tachometer that I put in my car, and I couldn't take a picture of it at night, so I pointed it at something else and set the focus lock and then put it back on my dash and I could see it. And the other one's a picture of a mail truck my son made with Legos. It was the opposite. I needed to increase the exposure. And the focus lock works the same way. You point it at something, it sets the f-stop, which is something I recommend you research on YouTube and learn how to do and what it means. But that's it. Otherwise, it's a great gimbal. And if Moza comes out with a better one with improvements like I described, I'm probably going to get it. And with two gimbals, who knows what I could do? I mean, gotta be careful about test racks and black holes and all that, and by then I will know more about theology and quantum physics and astrology. And that wasn't a joke about sci-fi stuff. No, that's a joke about how much stuff there is you have to learn about photography and videography to get this all to work together. But the Moza Mini-Mi has a lot that you can jump right into, and then it has other features that you can use as you learn more. And I think that's awesome. If you made it this far, congratulations. My editor says we're for 45 minutes now. So thanks for watching. I've been Robert, signing out.
No, I think it lost you because the lighting changed.
Yeah, it lost you because it's dark and I'm dark.
Stay with the lights behind us.
Okay.
And if this were daylight, we would not have that issue because I've tried this before. Hold on a second, I have to put a box on your face first. All right, and no.
think it has a problem with tracking melanin. This is a standard industry.
There we go. I got a good lock that time. Yep.
Oh shit, big brother.
And we are recording. And it lost me. I'm right here, bro. It's like, it's gotta be around here somewhere. Maybe I can find them.
And that is all Inception mode really is. I do not know why it's tripping right now.